There will be people who will tell you you're not good looking enough. There will be people who will tell you you're not tall enough or you're too tall, because you're never enough.
And these things were told to you.
I was told by a casting director that you are very good but you have a generic face. I was like, हाँ but यही है ना, आपको इसी से काम चलाना पड़ेगा. I don't understand, and there are some people who even go to the extent of bashing other people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how negative can you be in life? Yeah. How do you sleep with yourself? My biggest question is that. इतना pressure नहीं लेना चाहिए अपने ऊपर. Ultimately, there are also actors. See, we can also look at PR made actors, or we can also look at other actors who have made a career for so long with just their work.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the audiences will love you for your work, not for your PR. I started modeling when I was just 18, and I started modeling, and there were a lot of distant relatives who sort of said, what is this? How will she make it? It's okay. My parents believed in it. I believed in myself, and that's it. In conversation for some other film, and I've done this meeting in Bombay, and I've gone back to Hyderabad, and 3 days later I get a call that we're really sorry that we will have to take this already established actor because of whatever reasons, but because we really liked you, I wanted to be very upfront, and the producer called me and said, when you live your life on an edge ever since you're a child, smaller issues don't matter you in life. They don't really affect you in life. I mean, your father's on the border. You're not connected with him. You don't even know. You hear of these things all the time, things going wrong. And you still live through it happily in your small cocoon. Then that gives you a lot of strength.
Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Spotlight Sessions podcast. ये वही podcast है जहाँ आपके favorite celebrities को हम बुलाते हैं, उनके journeys को celebrate करते हैं, and we get to know them a little bit more, a little bit better. I've known her for years. She's been the same person. She's humble, she's talented, she's disciplined, and she is so much fun. I'm talking about, of course, Rakul. Thank you for doing this.
Hello, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Now, you obviously had to come. I have a podcast, and how can you not be there?
Of course. We've known each other for so long.
So long. But, it's also doing this at a time when you're getting so much love, I think it makes it extra special.
Thank you.
We were just discussing, off the camera, that rarely in comedy particularly, in rom-coms and whatever, we don't see women getting off in the agency and times where they get to stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
But I think in Dede, in this universe, you also wanted your character to have stand. There are certain points she does do that for herself.
Yeah.
Has it been interesting to see that what you thought would work and the audience relate to it as well? For the ones who have related, for sure, they've rejoiced at it.
I think it's always gratifying when you get the audience's love, because you make the film for them. You don't make it for yourself, right? And I think the kind of messages or, the kind of joy through messages that I'm feeling right now through that people are messaging. I don't think anybody's ever messaged me for a film so much. As to after so long there's been a film that you can go and enjoy with your family, and it's clean comedy, it's well written comedy, humor is in the writing, and you just have a good time and you come back, because everything is so heavy. Life is heavy, then theaters are heavy, then the content you're consuming is heavy, and I think the kind of response that's very overwhelming, that people are enjoying, and I'm grateful that they are. And also the unanimous love that Aisha's character is getting, I think that to me is the most overwhelming feeling.
We are going to be in and out of talking about the film and talking about her life that is so interesting. For a lot of people who don't know, of course, I mentioned the word discipline also comes from the fact that she's an army kid, and for the ones who don't know. And you also lived your life like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that the discipline, the values, the standing up for yourself that you've been taught since childhood came in very handy when you come to an industry like this where you're particularly an outsider?
Absolutely. I think the fact that you have so much self-belief and the fact that you are confident, you are driven, and you don't take no for an answer, and it's not easy to shake you, comes from my army upbringing, and I owe it to it completely, you know, because, and I've said this before in some interview, that I think that when you live your life on an edge ever since you're a child, smaller issues don't matter you in life. They don't really affect you in life. I mean, your father's on the border. You're not connected with him. You don't even know. You hear of these things all the time, you know, things going wrong. And you still live through it happily in your small cocoon. Then that gives you a lot of strength. That makes you a very strong person. Subconsciously. It's not something that you actively know or you're trying to do, but it subconsciously makes you a very strong person. So when life throws tough things at you, I think you just know how to deal with it better. Also the travel, you know, the fact that you end up changing so many schools, you adapt to different situations much easier. I've changed 10 schools, Rudrani, and you know, like from north, east, south, west, everywhere. And I think for me, because I'm in this profession and we live out of a suitcase, literally, it's very easy because it's been my normal ever since I was born. Travel has been a consistent part of who I am. So actually I'd be bored if I'm in one place. I wouldn't know what to do. So I feel discipline, of course, our industry requires that. Discipline, perseverance, focus, all of that. And I'm so glad that I had the upbringing that I had, because it just doesn't feel hard now. It feels very normal.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that not taking a no and not giving up, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been here if you would have given up.
Yeah.
Because probably सबको ये पता नहीं होगा कि आप obviously आपको भी काफी बार ना सुनना पड़ा है.
Of course.
आप भी उस दौर से गुजर चुकी है. It's just that you don't talk too often about it, you know, but you've been there, you've been through the grind, जिसे कहते हैं ना, कि ना सुनना, replace हो जाना, फिर लोग ये कहना कि acting, you know, is not that up there, and not believing in you, giving you those author-backed roles and saying that नहीं. तो उन सब से जूझ कर, today when you're sitting in front of me and you're being appreciated for the kind of role that you've done, for your nuances, I feel like satisfaction तो होता होगा. पर उस दौर में रकुल आपने खुद को कैसे संभाला?
I think इतना सोचो मत. दुनिया का तो काम है ना बोलना कि जो भी कुछ करेगा, जो भी उठेगा कि नहीं तुमसे नहीं होगा. There'll be a lot of people who'll say you'll not be able to do it. From the time that I started modeling, when I was just 18 and I started modeling, and there were a lot of distant relatives who sort of said, what is this, how will she make it? It's okay, my parents believed in it, I believed in myself, and that's it. That's all mattered. So I feel like life teaches you, and I say this over and over again, life teaches you to put your blinders on and just keep working. If you start addressing the noise, you will get derailed. So it's very important to stay focused and believe in yourself. And yeah, I mean, there are times when things don't go your way, and you have to accept that and tell yourself that maybe it wasn't meant for me. You know, in fact, De De Pyar De 1 was a result of a replacement. Not that I was doing some other film. I mean, I was in conversation for some other film, and I've done this meeting in Bombay, and I've gone back to Hyderabad, and 3 days later I get a call that you know, we're really sorry that we will have to take this already established actor because of whatever reasons, but because we really liked you, I wanted to be very upfront, and the producer called me and said, I wanted to be very upfront and not, you know, not loop you in, was not right. So, because I'd love to work with you in the future. So I thought that was very nice and very sweet that, you know, he called me and he said, this time I'm having to go with someone more established. But I was very pissed when I kept the phone. And in that anger, not anger, but in that thing of, okay, never mind, I'm going to make sure I get something else. I made those 10 calls to all the people I had met. कि उसका क्या हुआ, उसका क्या हुआ, उसका क्या, 3-4 महीने पहले मिली थी. And then I happened to call the casting director who I'd met Love Sir for De De Pyaar De. And I said, what's happening to that film you were telling me? He said, listen 1 second. Because then he called me back in 5 minutes. He said, they were just talking about you this morning. Can you come to Bombay again? So then I went and met in 2 days and I signed the film. So sometimes
It works in your favor.
It works in your favor. So I just feel that in the bigger picture, when things don't work out for you, there's always God's some other plan. And I am a true believer. I believe I'm God's child. I believe He's gotten me this far, and whatever is best for me will happen. Just to take from there is that yes, you believe in yourself, but yes, you also give yourself a certain time limit. That's what I did. When I moved to Bombay, I said I'm going to give myself 2-3 years. If I crack it, great. But if I don't crack it, then it's not meant for me, and then I will go back to doing something else because I can't be struggling all my life. Luckily, with God's grace, things worked out. And then I was independent enough to take care of my expenses, and hence, then the journey began, then south, of course, and then things clicked, right? But I also feel that to everyone who is aspiring, there will be people who will tell you you're not good looking enough. There will be people who will tell you you're not tall enough or you're too tall, because you're never enough.
And these things were told to you.
I was told by a casting director that you are very good but you have a generic face.
Imagine.
And I was so naive and again like mufat. I was like, हाँ but यही है ना, आपको इसी से काम चलाना पड़ेगा.
I love it.
I didn't know that ऐसा नहीं बोलना है. This is out of innocence that मैंने बोल दिया. I'm like, but इसी से काम चलाना पड़ेगा ना. I'm very confident of what it is. So I feel that there will be a lot of people, and it's not just this profession, it's any profession, Rudrani. It's any profession. There are a lot of people who will, because you're never enough for anybody. Even if you're in no profession, either you're too fat, either you're too thin, either you're too lean, you're too strong, you're too weak, you're emotional, you're strong. There is just, everybody has an opinion. Just shut the noise. Just shut the noise, just keep working. Just be honest with yourself. I think that is primary. Because a lot of people say, I am working hard, but then they're partying at night and then they're not following a discipline. I believe that if you really want something in life, start already manifesting and having a lifestyle in the sense that have a routine. Start imagining that you're waking up at a certain time, you're working out, you're putting in the work hours, you're going and auditioning, just keep yourself busy so the universe also gifts you that.
You said partying, often advices are given ki you are not seen enough. You're not, you have to go, you have to put yourself out there, socialize and with directors, with the people of the industry. But you didn't do that path, and you are here. Would you want to say something to people who still believe that that's the only
Nothing happens with that. Okay, nothing happens. Nobody is going to cast you in a film if you are at a party. Possibly they won't even remember the next day. It's great to go for 5 minutes to just say hi to everybody. I do go to parties sometimes when it is starting 8 p.m. and not like 11 p.m. So I do go, but I will just possibly be the first person who's getting out because people don't even land up.
Yeah.
But I just feel hanging out there, partying, it doesn't get you work. Work gets you more work. I'm a very strong believer of that.
And your life is proof of that also. But जैसे कि हम पहले बात कर रहे थे रकुल, तो क्या होता है ना कि ये positivity आज, because you know that that's the way to do. You've been a person, like you said, you've been through so much in life. You're like, today I will take anything that comes my way. But when you are younger and you are new to the experience of being someone who doesn't have that kind of backing or where you can put yourself out there, someone's telling nahi, uske liye push karte, usi ko lete hai, and you're being easily replaced. How did you deal with the disappointment? I think that is a very important thing.
So I'll tell you what we assume that you have to get affected by the disappointment.
Okay.
Disappointments and achievements are a part and parcel of life. And I have always been a person, and I think that thanks to my parents who've been my biggest support, that I always knew that they've given me this 2-3 year window, and they are supporting me and they're checking in on me and they're always asking what's happening, what's not. So it was never about me getting disappointed. The person, and I'm not just saying this, trust me Rudrani, you've known me for so long. I was always a very positive person, right? And I always believed that if it's not happening, it's not for me. And I think my anchor through that entire phase was self-belief. where I knew मैं तो star हूँ.
Love it.
तुमको नहीं पता है. I used to really think like that. So I feel that naiveness actually was beneficial. Sometimes when you don't know too much, is better for your sanity. And I didn't know much. I was very naive. I was buddhu. I was like this very innocent person. तो मुझे लगता था इनमें परख नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं. अगला. So it is a very, and it's not overconfidence. It was never overconfidence. It came from a place of so much self-belief because मैं अपनी favorite हूँ.
Love it.
So आपको नहीं पता, ठीक है, ये नहीं तो कुछ और, you know.
Is this why you also didn't want to indulge in any kind of PR games that they encourage you to do? कि यहाँ पे
यार मुझे समझ नहीं आती है PR games.
You've heard this throughout your life, haven't you?
Of course I've heard. I've heard.
You've been encouraged?
I have been. See, we all have to do a little bit of PR. We have to have a little presence. Yeah, I don't understand, and there are some people who even go to the extent of bashing other people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how negative can you be in life? Yeah. How do you sleep with yourself? My biggest question is that. Yeah. And I feel like good work, God is there. God will see. Good karma gets back good karma. You know, like it gives you rewards. And I come from that school of thought. My mind doesn't naturally run on PR. My mother calls me sometimes, what are you wearing? You got papped in those same jeans 5th time this month. I'm like, my God. So, you know, like people make an effort every time they go out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh damn. How have the paps come here? So, sometimes you're dressed and sometimes you're not. And it's okay. So, I just feel that, you know, itna pressure nahi lena chahiye apne upar. Ultimately, there are also actors. See, we can also look at PR made actors, or we can also look at other actors who have made a career for so long with just their work. Yeah. So ultimately, the audiences will love you for your work, not for your PR. Yeah. And audiences are Bhagwan.
It's very interesting that your choices and the movies that you're getting are aligning, right? You always wanted. You also have Pati Patni, yes. The franchise coming up. You know, after just the love that you're getting for Dede, then you have more, which you will have to tell me about. Yeah. Does it reflect the vision that you saw for yourself?
All I can
and
say.
And also, you must tell us the projects that you can talk about, because your fans will kill me.
Right now, only this I can't talk, but I can just assure that there are interesting things lined up post Pati Patni or Vodo as well. All I can say, Rudrani, is that I am finally grateful that I got a role in a commercial film, which is an author-backed role. Like you started the interview by saying, it's time women take charge, right? Through the film's narrative as well. And I am very grateful that I got that opportunity to show a gamut of emotions, to show like a range there, to really understand the complexities of what you could be going through as a character, the layers of it. And it's not just limited to 4 scenes, 4 songs, right? Dede Pyaar De was never, and I think the characters only gotten better in part 2. And I'm just grateful. इससे ज़्यादा मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकती because it's not my vision, it's my belief. And more than my belief, it's the maker's belief. It's Anshul, my director's belief, it's Love Sir's belief that she will be able to pull off a role like this. So it's gratitude and nothing else.
Because we're still discussing Dede, I must talk about the climax, right? Yeah. Talking about the confrontation scene which you had with your father in the movie, which is played by the wonderful
Madhavan sir.
And I feel like वो बहुत interesting scene था. Because I think calling out parents is the most difficult thing to do, and you do it.
And you do it in real life.
You do it in real life.
Yeah.
Tell me the importance of that scene, how you look at that scene, because you know it's been discussed.
When I was given that scene and when I was given a brief, both of us were given a brief that we are both yelling at the top of our voice. I mean, at the top of our pitch. And the brief was very different for the two of us. For him, it is how a father feels shame in anger. So it's a shameful anger. And for me, it was a rebellious anger. And there are different ways of showing anger, right? But just think when you're younger, or even now, like if there's a conflict with your parents, you just don't want to hear anything and you just go on a rant. Yeah. you're just like, if you just cross that switch, right? And you don't mean it. You never mean it. But sometimes you just, when a point of view is not being accepted or a point of view is not being given a chance to be heard, I think that was Aisha's problem. It was not that you're not agreeing. Her problem, because in the scene before that, she has told him that give him a chance. Acha hai na, you know. So her problem is you're not even giving it a chance. And you're blaming it on others.
And
you're not acknowledging the real factor. And what about
and log kya kahenge
is a problem in Indian mindset.
Always.
Even today. And ever since I was a kid, I always had an issue with that. लोगों का क्या है, क्या कहेंगे, कौन है ये लोग?
They're not paying your bills.
They're not, and they are, who are they to me, right? But that generation cared about लोग क्या कहेंगे. I feel our generation doesn't really care. We're not. Whenever we ever said in our relationships, लोग क्या कहेंगे, अच्छा नहीं लगता, बुरा नहीं लगता. You voice what you want to voice. So I feel that's a very beautifully written scene. Where exactly after that scene, it's not like she's not guilt-free, she's very guilty of saying what she says. But it's that fit of rage. It's that bikhar jana in anger.
Sure.
Right? And we had a lot of fun shooting it. We lost our voices, both of us. Next day was only screaming montages, so we were okay because we both lost voice. And वो highway पे थे हम, तो we screamed on the top of our voice.
Yeah. But I think the scene is very well done.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting when films that are rom-coms also give you layers.
Absolutely.
And यहाँ पे relationship की layers को हम परखते हैं, जांचते हैं, जो interesting है, right? इसलिए conversations हो रही है.
जी.
कि यहाँ पे first time में भी ये बात आई थी कि should she forgive him for kind of cheating on him or not in the first part, right? And then she gets over it. I will not mention a lot about what happens here, but I feel like she brings up the subject about how women and men are looked upon differently also through her character. And the topic of physical, emotional cheating has been discussed so much. You know, today, if you see everywhere, they'll be, oh, emotional cheating is fine and physical cheating is fine. How do you look at this sort of thing? And knowing you, I know like honesty is a major part. We've spoken about what your relationship is. But exactly, what are your thoughts from it when you do characters like this? You also get an opportunity to think about how relationships are complicated.
See, I limit a character to a character.
Absolutely.
And a personal life is personal life.
100%.
And I think it's very important to draw that what that character's journey is not what my journey is. What
100%.
that character's battles are not what my battles are.
Absolutely.
Am I with the character? Yes, because her start to finish endpoint is different than my start to finish endpoint.
Yeah.
The journeys of people around the characters are different. So you can never really phrase it in one sentence and say, how does it align?
Fair enough.
You don't think so much. Simple. You go, you read your scene, you do your scene, come back, cut, and then from Aisha you become Rakul, or from any character you become Rakul.
Fair enough.
That's how much you think.
So while we're on this subject, I want to know what are some do and don'ts for you in a relationship. I mean, I know some because you've discussed. She has a wonderful relationship with her husband. So
yeah, I think the core of any relationship is friendship. And Jackky and I share that friendship where we can speak about anything to one another and be subjective about it. You know, I think that's very important. If he can just tell me, he can have an opinion on something that I did, but that doesn't mean he's judging me on it, or vice versa. So we can have a very objective discussion or anything. About anything. And I think that friendship is the core. Like, we like to spend time with one another. We want to be with one another, right? I think that's very important. And also we do respect one another's space and individuality. I think that for both of us is very important because we didn't get married in our early 20s. We got married at a time when we were both very strong individuals and we decided to be together. And I think it's important for us to complement that individuality.
Sure.
I think so that's a major, I think, a part of our relationship.
This really helps, doesn't it, when you're in an industry or any industry, but here because it's always on your focus, on your lives and they're being discussed, I think this philosophy or this way of living really helps in your friendship and your marriage, isn't it, Rakul?
Of course, yeah, but then it's each to their own, na? What is the kind of dynamic you have with your partner? we are both very kiddish when it comes to our behavior with one another. We're, and we like to do the same things. We're both very similar people.
Yeah.
So I feel like that dynamic is very different from person to person. It's what works for each. I feel what's most important is respect for one another, and respect for decision making, respect for their work, respect for their personal time, that space, everything for both of them.
I think what is also interesting is that people always talk about how you have been able to balance all industries and you continue to be loved in so many. Even though your fans keep complaining that we want to see more.
Yeah,
of you.
I am more.
So I'll have to bring that.
Yes, please.
So you'll have to tell them. You've been loved so much in Telugu and in all other industries also. What is happening there, and what have you learned from the people you worked with? Particularly, you call them superstars, but they are the most humble people I know. Whether it's Allu Arjun, whether it's Mahesh Babu, whether it's all of them.
I think what I've learned is that they are not working for themselves, they're working for the industry. They want to see, I remember, and I've said this before again, that Allu Arjun was always very, very certain that he wants to see Telugu film industry rise and shine and, have like a global presence. And I think he's been able to do that. And that's his endeavor to do, so they're not selfish in their approach for work. They are very united, and I think that unity is something I learned from there because my conditioning happened there. My first couple of years of work was there. So for me, it's very normal to praise someone else's work, to stand for someone else's work, to appreciate. And I think that unity I've learned from the Telugu film industry.
And they
standing for one another, absolutely. And I don't know any other way. It's unfortunate that we here don't have that, because people start thinking, what's in it for you? But I still nevertheless do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody asks me, can you please share this song? Can you make a reel? Can you do it? Of course.
Yeah.
I would.
But it would have been a different place, isn't it? This I've heard a lot of actors say, that if we come together and if we look at everything truly as art, we would probably be in a very different space.
I agree. Because we have to be genuinely happy for another person's success. We have to be it's not a competition with one another. That who's number one, who's number two, who's in the top 5. That's not. You will only remain there if the industry survives. You will only remain there if the industry is loved. And they will only be loved if you're genuinely, truly human.
Do you think that is the success of Tamil, Telugu industries and their audience?
I don't know about success, but I think that's definitely the difference. That they stand with one another. And see, I love all industries, so I'm not saying that, Hindi doesn't do this. I'm saying that the only difference that I have witnessed is this. And I really hope that we can have a little more unity even here.
I agree. I know that you do that for the actors. I see that.
Yeah.
When something comes out, something that you like, you have so many friends here, and also female friends, which here in the industry, they believe that, women are always constantly at loggerheads and competing. But I think in the past few years, I've seen from all the, I think about the female superstars, you have always stood by each other, whether it's Samantha.
Yeah, Samantha, Kajol, Tamannaah. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that friendship that you see a lot in female superstars?
No, I think I have it here as well. I think I'm good friends with Bhumi.
You do.
I'm good friends with my other co-stars from Pati Patni, because we were on an outdoor and we really got along very well. So I think at least from my end, I'm friends with everybody.
Of course.
I really think it doesn't take much to be nice. It's the easiest thing to be nice. It takes a lot of toll on you if you're not being nice.
So now let me put you on spot and ask you, tell your audience, what are you doing? When is the next Telugu?
I would love to do, let me just say, I would love to do a Telugu film, because like I've always said this, Hyderabad is my first home and Telugu is my first love, and I just still haven't got anything interesting enough to do.
Sure.
Like for me, the thing is that if I am, I want to do a role that I haven't done before, because I've worked with all the actors. There has to be some challenge to what I do.
Absolutely.
And some reinvention to what I do. So I'm hoping something interesting comes my way.
We talk about the power of manifestation whenever we meet because your life is proof, and you tell me that you always tell me you have to manifest it and stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me about your belief in that, and also, is that a way that you look at also spirituality and understanding religion?
So I am more spiritual than I'm religious. Of course, I will I go to a temple? I will. Will I go to a gurdwara? I will. Will I go to any place of worship? I will. But is my daily practice that? My daily practice is more spiritual. My daily practice is more just connecting with God as one unit, one entity, like the universe or God. And I believe there's one God. And there are just different ways of addressing God.
Sure.
Or whether it's power or it's the universe, I don't know. But that one power that really helps you be the guiding, is your guiding light. And I think manifestation doesn't work if you actively are like, oh, I'm going to start writing this and I want to manifest, I want to manifest. You have to just believe and you have to just give it out to the universe, and then just it's easier said than done.
Sure.
But you have to just give it out, and then you have to believe it's happening, which is what I was telling you earlier. Even in the case of aspiring actors, they have to believe that they're ready for more work.
Sure.
You can't have a way of life that I'm waking up at 12, जब काम आएगा तब मैं 6 बजे उठ जाऊंगी. You have to be in a routine. You have to start believing it's happening. You have to start practicing things that you do when you are working. So yeah.
At every stage of an actor, the difficulties and the levels change, right? When you're struggling with getting new roles, that's a different way. Today, when you are successful, there is a different kind of struggle. People will assume, oh, it's such a nice, lovely life that you lead. Tell me, how has that changed for you? What have you been able to navigate through? And today, what are your challenges that you face?
I think, like you said rightly, the challenges always keep changing. And I think what the challenge for me right now would be, now that you've watched the film and you've seen the kind of role, now I have to go beyond that. I have to, it could be a different genre, but I have to live up to what I've done. And that's the challenge, to find script, to also be able to be versatile with my choices next. And I'm sure that's something, I'm not going to call it a challenge because it's a very negative word. So I would say that would be my endeavor next, to be able to do that.
Okay.
To be able to find scripts that are equally challenging, so that I don't disappoint my audiences.
अब जब स्क्रिप्ट्स की बात कर ही रहे हैं हम, तो then we should take out our list and usually do the power of manifestation, na? Tell me, who are the people? Has the list changed? Because you always think of new actors and directors that
No,
you want
I'd like to work with everyone I've not worked with. Yeah, there's Ranveer, who I'm a fan of, who I haven't worked with. I'd love to work with Sanjay Leela Bansali sir, of course. I'd love to work with Shah Rukh Sir. There's just so many people I'd love to work with, and more than that, I just love to work with as many people, whoever I've not worked with.
We'll probably start wrapping at this note that you're at the space where you're kind of working towards the roles that you want, and you also are extremely happy in the life that you're leading. And I think you've built a safe space for yourself. You always manage to protect your private life, your personal life. And being an actor, it's very difficult because you're being followed, you're being papped. How have you been able to draw the line for yourself there? Today actors also discuss about where, should I protect what I have? I also am a human being, because we see the respect that continues. It's been a while now,
Yeah.
For both of you. Has it been easy? Has it been difficult? Or has it been just as it is?
See, we'd spoken about our relationship even before we got married, and I think we didn't want to take that pressure of hiding, is why we were very vocal about it.
Sure.
But if we're out somewhere and there is paparazzi, great, we greet them. They're also doing their work.
Sure.
And I feel that's it. It limits to that. Do I want to keep posting pictures and showing my personal space and my Sunday rituals and everywhere? I don't want to put that out on social media, and I don't want to share that. But of course, when it's certain important occasions, that's when we share moments together. But I feel you can always draw a fine line. I feel when you know what your line is, you can always draw it.
Wonderfully put. On that note, we always end it by asking what have been the 2-3 rules that you always followed, Rakul, that have helped you for all the new actors who want to also like join in this industry?
2-3 rules.
That you have always stood by.
Like I said all through the interview, I think self-belief first, hard work and perseverance. That's it.
Do you have ethical rules as well? Like, this is the kind of things I want to do, this is the kind of things...
That is very subjective, na?
Fair enough.
Ethic is very subjective too. Of course, I have certain ethics which may be different for somebody else.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
On that note, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is always lovely chatting with you.
Same here.
Like I always tell you, I'm always cheering for you and
Thank you,
hoping
Rudrani.
that you only get so much more.
Thank you, Rudrani.
Thank you once again.
Thank you.